Please welcome to the stage, Ron on Hirschberg.
My show is called Self-Helpless tonight. It's about the inability to change. It starts a year ago when I'm driving back from an Arcade Fire concert around midnight when out of nowhere the brakes in my car go out. And by out of nowhere, I mean my mechanic had been telling me to fix it for like 6 months. And instead, I did nothing. I was like, I could pay to fix it, but I'd rather be driving one day and suddenly find myself in the movie Speed. And that's what happens. The car in front of me stopped, I put my foot on the brakes, and my car just kept on going. And that's an exciting moment. Because essentially what it means is you have 10 seconds to look around you and decide what's the least expensive thing you can crash your car into. There's a car in front of me, I don't want to hit that, I swerve. There's a kid on a bike, don't want to hit him, I swerve again, go up a driveway, straight for a Porsche and an open garage. I'm like, should have hit the fucking kid. I swerve again. That's how I felt. I swerve again, go into some random person's backyard. My car goes up the steps of the deck, like in the beginning of Naked Gun, and just hits a wall on the deck. I get out of my car, it's just on someone's deck. Like a modern art piece. I knock on the front door, the sweet old lady comes out. She's way too shocked to be angry. We call the cops, an officer comes. He looks at me, looks at the old lady, looks at the car on the deck, and then he turns back to the old lady and goes, "What did you do?" I'm like, she hit my fucking deck. Don't go in my house. I have a bunch of pictures of her on the wall for some reason. Now, most people would walk away from that situation having a real come-to-Jesus moment. Or in my case, whatever the Jewish version of that is. A real come-to-Jeff Goldblum moment. They'd be like, wow, I could have killed someone. I could have easily prevented that from fixing my brakes. I gotta make some changes in my life, otherwise this shit's gonna keep on happening in an endless loop. Not me. I walked away from that going, all right, got a new 5 minutes of stand-up. And that's the problem with being a stand-up, or the kind of comedy I do. When bad shit happens, it's like good for me. I'm like, great. I didn't have to sit in a coffee house, look at a blank page for a couple hours. All I had to do was be extremely irresponsible, and the shit writes itself. I have no impetus to change. It's a problem. When other people fuck up, it's a wake-up call. For me, it's direct communication with my muse. I welcome bad shit. I have a stand-up friend a couple months ago, his apartment burnt down, and I was jealous. I was like, that's 20 minutes of gold right there. It's hard to change. Like, I need to lose like 50 pounds, but that's half my act. It's half my act. And if I become financially responsible, that's the other half. I'd have to create a whole new persona. Not to mention a persona no one wants to see. No one wants to see a guy on stage talking about doing well. No one wants to see a guy on stage and be like, I went to the doctor the other day and it turned out I'm the perfect weight for my height. Anyone? Anyone the perfect weight for their height? No one wants to see that shit. They want to see someone like me being like, I went to the doctor the other day and it turns out I'm the perfect weight for a Danny DeVito lookalike contest. That's what you fuckers want to see. But then I'm like, that's bullshit, because I could lose like 20 pounds and still do my fat jokes. I don't have to be this fat for that material to work. I don't have to have literally no money in my account to do jokes about having no money in my account. And that's how you're supposed to change. That's what all the self-help books say. If you want to change, you do it gradually, right? You want to lose weight, you lose a pound a month. You want to save money, you put 50 cents in your account every week and the interest or whatever. I don't know how it works. I'm just guessing. The only problem is I find that kind of change so boring. I like to think about change in the most drastic way. I like to sit in my bedroom and just being like, all right, today I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna work out for like 5 hours, maybe 6, I don't know, depends how I'm feeling. And I'm gonna go back the next day, work another 5 hours, and after a month I'll have a 6-pack and I'll go into modeling and I'll save a bunch of money. And as I'm thinking about this, I just get tired, jack off, and take a nap. That's the process of my life. Overly ambitious life planning followed by a post-jack-off nap. Anyone else's dreams are followed by that? And it just goes in an endless cycle, like some sad, fat Jewish version of Groundhog's Day. You know, I have changed in some ways. It's gradual. I think, when I first started doing comedy, I worked at Red Lobster. I'm happy to say 8 years into doing comedy, I no longer work there. I mean, granted, it's because I got fired, but the point is, I no longer work at Red Lobster, which is awesome. I was a seafood expert. That's what they called me. You wear a pin that says seafood expert. It won't help you get into any marine biology conferences. I've tried. People ask me questions about seafood. I don't know anything about seafood. All I know about seafood is that some vegetarians will eat fish, and they're called hypocrites. And the reason they'll eat fish is because fish don't have eyebrows, so they don't look sad when they're dying. They look stupid no matter what. The worst part about working at Red Lobster, some of the waiters would come up to me and they'd be like, hey, I hear you're a stand-up. How's that going? Fucking great. Can't you tell by this name tag for this whole other job I have? I was gonna be on SNL last week, but I had to be like, sorry, Lorne Michaels. These Cheddar Bay biscuits don't hand themselves out. They don't. Sometimes people ask for butter with the Cheddar Bay biscuits. Could I get some butter with that? Look, Caligula, you don't need fucking butter. One guy literally said, I swear to God, he said, bring out all your sauces and condiments with the Cheddar Bay biscuits. I'm doing an experiment. Those words came out of his mouth. I was like, give him room. He's doing an experiment for science. Following in that noble tradition of Newton with the apple and Galileo with whatever the fuck he did. Following in that noble tradition, Ralph at Red Lobster dumping his Cheddar Bay biscuits into Chipotle sauce. Answering the ever-important scientific question, will I die if I keep on doing this? When I first did that bit, I said Newton dropping the apple, and someone had to explain to me, he didn't drop an apple. An apple fell on his head. That's how dumb I am. I literally thought Newton had a famous experiment where he's just like, hey, everybody. See this apple in my hand? Yeah, we see it. You see it there? Gravity, bitches. Fucking gravity. That famous experiment where no one had ever seen someone drop something before. Of course, that's not what happened. What actually happened, the story, does anyone know? Do you know the story, sir? Fell on his head, that's right. You said it quickly before I could give you the mic. That's cool. He was quick with that shit. It fell on his head, right? He was sitting on the apple tree, apple fell on his head, and it made him realize that the same gravitational forces that make that apple fall are what make the planets, right? Now, to me, that is the true sign of a genius. I mean, just think about it. An apple fell on his head, and his reaction was to come up with the most groundbreaking theory of all time. Anyone else in that situation, anyone else would just be like, what the fuck? That's it. That's all they got. What the fuck? He had gravity. Anyway, what the fuck? Don't sit on an apple tree, apple fall on your head, it'll hurt. It's my hypothesis. The moral of that story is we should drop more shit on geniuses' heads and see what they come up with. We throw a rock at Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh, shit, Big Bang Theory's wrong. I got it now. We drop a piano on Stephen Hawking, we're fucking done with science. We got all the questions answered. The worst people at Red Lobster were the health freaks. They'd come in every week and they'd always say the same thing. They'd be like, excuse me, I have a serious gluten allergy. Very serious. I can't have any gluten near me, on my plate. I don't even like saying the word gluten. It's a very serious allergy. And you'd be like, what's the allergy? And they'd be like, well, sometimes when I eat bread, it makes me sad. That's not an allergy. When I eat Taco Bell, I have to take a painful shit. That's just cause and effect. That's just crime and punishment. You are throwing that word around. I've been eating at McDonald's 8 years straight, 3 times a day, and recently I've noticed an allergic reaction. Well, now I have man tits. And I haven't seen my penis in a year. I'm breaking out all over the place. I get it, though. It's hard to do diets. I always give up every time I read a diet at the same place. There's always a place on the diet where they're like, when you come home at night, make a salad. It's always in that tone, too. How about a salad? A salad. When you come home at night, salad. Salad. Are you fucking kidding me? When I come home at night, I'm drunk and lonely. Who has ever made a salad in that situation? Who has ever come home 2 a.m, all rejected from the bars? Yeah, let's fucking do this! Let's get out the lettuce! And the balsamic vinaigrette! And the alfalfa sprouts! This will definitely fill the void of my soul. No, I'm drunk. I want to go to the bars, fuck someone depressingly in my league, and then have a victory force meal at Taco Bell. Like some Paul Giamatti version of a Viking warrior. Fuck your salad. It's hard to be healthy, though. It really is. I think it'd be easier to be healthy if I had, like, kids. I think kids can motivate you to be healthy. And I love kids for a lot of reasons. Number one reason I love kids is because, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but for me, narcissism is exhausting. Like, I am worn out. Like, parents love to say, man, let me tell you, having a kid, there's nothing more tiring than that. No, fuck that. You know what's really tiring? Thinking about yourself and no one else. All day long. I am exhausted. All day long, I just think about my own death. I love kids, so I can think about their death for a change. You know what I mean? Like, as a relief, you know? And I'm not saying parents aren't afraid to die. They are, but it's a much more noble fear. They're like, I'm afraid to die because what would happen to my kids, you know? That's very noble. I'm like, I'm afraid to die because what would happen to me if I die? Me, my best friend. It's not noble. People with kids have real problems, like, oh, my baby's sick. Oh, my older son's a drug dealer. Those are real problems. I don't have real problems. My biggest problem last week was that I couldn't remember my Netflix password for like 30 minutes. And it was a crisis. I was freaking out. I was like, what? Is it pussy fart or pussy fart exclamation mark? I can't remember if pussy fart was taken. How am I gonna watch 30 Rock for the 100th time? This is all I have! People's kids have something to live for. If like you're in an alley and someone's holding a gun on you, and you have kids, you can use that as leverage. You can be like, "Don't shoot me. I have a 2-year-old at home." The gunman might think of his own 2-year-old and let you go. But if someone's holding a gun on me in an alley, I ain't got shit. What am I gonna say? Don't shoot me. My mom would be upset. Don't shoot me. I have to do a comedy show at a Beef O'Brady's in Scottsburg, Indiana next week. Don't shoot me. These Cheddar Bay biscuits don't hand themselves out. That would just make him feel more inclined to pull the trigger just to take me out of my fucking misery. So I'd like to have kids. I think that'll be an interesting thing. And I got close a couple years ago. I had a pregnancy scare. Not me, but this girl I was fucking. I had a pregnancy scare. And at one point, she narrowed it down to me and this other guy I knew who was black. And my first thought was, I swear to God, well, at least the other guy's black. So if it's not my kid, I won't have to borrow money from my parents for a paternity test. Which it's safe to say is not the thought of someone who's ready to be a father. I was freaking out, so I went to my friends who have kids, and they all told me the same thing. They're like, "I know you're nervous, I know you're scared, but if it turns out to be your kid, it's gonna be the greatest thing ever. It's gonna be amazing. I know you're so scared, but trust me, this is gonna be the best thing that ever happened to you. It's gonna change your life." And then when it turned out to not be my kid, I told them that, and they all said the same thing. Thank fucking God. You really dodged a bullet. I was totally bullshitting before. It's the worst. I'm so jealous of you right now. I don't know, but maybe they're right the first time. Because, I was in my bedroom and I was thinking if the kid was mine, I started thinking about all these like changes I'd have to do. Like I'd have to quit smoking and quit drinking or, cut it down. Let's not get crazy. And I'd have to probably start saving more money. I'd probably have to clean my apartment in case like the kid comes over, right? Which means taking out the trash every day instead of doing what I'm doing now, which is just letting it all pile up in the kitchen. And I'll probably have to floss more so I can be... And then I'm like, wait a minute, this is shit I should be doing anyway. But only with the thought of the kid was I actually feeling motivated to do it. And I got excited. I started planning. I started doing it the way the self-help book said. I started saving money, 50 cents a week, and I started working out, losing weight, a pound a month, Started cleaning my apartment. And then one day I get a call from her. I'm in my kitchen, I'm taking out my trash. And she goes, "So the kid turned out not to be yours." I'm like, "Okay, all right." And she's like, "All right, I gotta go." And then she hung up. I had the trash bag in my hand. I just dropped it on the kitchen floor. Gravity, bitches. I wanted a kid. I was excited, It was not just a motivation to change. There was other things I was excited about. One of the things I was excited was about the stand-up I could do about being a parent. That's like fucking marketable stand-up, That's like how Louis C.K. and Bill Cosby made their careers. Everyone loves that kind of stand-up. Hey, my kid, I love him, but he's annoying. I'd have better jokes than that. But like I'm saying, that's good stand-up, And now I got to go back to talking about jacking off and Netflix. You know what? If I want to do stand-up about being a father, the mere fact that I am not one shouldn't stop me. So here we go. Earlier this year, I became a father for the first time. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else have kids in here? Anyone else? All right, okay, well, only 2 of you? That seems strange. I don't know why people are lying about having kids. I ain't letting this sick fuck know anything about me. Who has kids in here? Round of applause. Who has kids? Okay. All right. Some of you won't be able to relate to this, and neither will I. Let me go back. Let me make myself married too. All right. I'm married. This great girl. Let's call her Jenny. I'm married to her. Anyone married? Who's married in here? All right. Yeah. How long have you all been married? Is this your wife? Right? Okay. Sorry. All right. 18 years. Give it up for him. I've been married 10 years. 10 fucking years. Most of that time was spent waiting for her to get ready. You know what I mean? My wife, I call her the boss. I always do what she says. You always do what she says? Right? You got to. My friends call me pussy whip. Like that's an insult. Pussy is the greatest thing to ever be whipped by. Anytime I had to be whipped, I would choose pussy every time. Are you kidding me? That's not an insult. That's like being pizza assaulted. It's good. Right? I do whatever she says. Whatever she says. The other day I was ironing her pants. I don't know why. She knows how to fucking iron. But I'm ironing her pants and halfway through I stop. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm literally ironing the pants she wears in the relationship. But that's marriage for you. Fucking years. So we had a kid earlier this year. His name's Ezra, and do you all have kids? How many kids do you have? One? How old is he? 18. Ugh. Wait till they're one. Wait till they're one. No idea what that means. We had the kid. Babies are so helpless when they're born. Especially compared to other animals. Most animals, the minute they're born, they're like ready to go. Like a horse leaps out of his mother's vagina and just starts running. Let's get this shit started! Let's go! Sea turtles are even crazier. Sea turtles lay eggs in the sand and then just leave. They're like, fuck it, they'll figure it out. I got time to raise this motherfucker. I got places to be. And then the eggs will hatch and the turtles will go straight to the ocean. Like they're late for an appointment, like we should have been there 5 minutes ago. When you compare that to human babies who can't even hold up their own head for like 5 months, you have to hold up their head or it'll dangle. And then they'll die. That's how fucking helpless they are. I was so bored for the first 5 months. Were you bored? Were you all bored when your kid was born? Is this her right here? That might be awkward for you to say it. Were you bored at all? Just the first 5 months? Right? It's like he doesn't do shit. He didn't smile. He's before smiling, so he just has that condescending look on his face, like, oh, you're my father? Mexican Frisch's big boy? Great. He didn't do anything. And then your parents come over and they think everything he does is genius, right? He touches the spoon, they're like, you should register him for the Olympics! Amazing spoon dexterity! What the fuck are you talking about? Unless there's a sport in the Olympics for having the creepiest look when you're taking a dump, I don't see what he could do. I guess he could do the luge. You don't even have to technically be alive for that. They kept on saying he was alert. That was their big buzzword. He's so alert. He's so alert as they're holding his head up. He's so alert. Isn't he so alert? No, he's not. I love him, but he's not even alert for nursing home standards. He's 8 now. They grow up so fast. Don't they? I mean, they do. They grow up so fast. We put them in soccer. Did you put your daughter in soccer? Everyone puts their kids in soccer now. Because the great thing about soccer is if your kid sucks, no one cares. Because no one notices. Because no one's watching. Because it's fucking soccer. It's the most boring fucking... If you think the World Cup is boring, try watching 8-year-olds play soccer without a scoring. I have to go every Sunday and drive this piece of shit to his game. And he sucks. He's the worst person on his team. He sucks for an 8-year-old. After one of the games, I'm in the car with him, and I don't know what to say after the game. Like I'm not one of those people. Like I hate parents who say like I never lie to my kid. Like any parent who says that, they're full of shit. Because here's the thing: if you never lied to your kid, you would be the worst parent ever. Your kid would ask you a simple question, you'd be like, I don't know anything. I'm faking this whole thing. We're just floating alone on a rock through space. I am not a source of comfort. This is all just fabricated. We die alone. I'm just being honest. So you don't know why Buzz Lightyear doesn't think he's a toy? But I'm sitting in the car with him, and usually I say like, great job, you get better every time. But I'm sick of lying. But I don't want to like hurt him too much, so I'm like, I'm just kind of, don't judge me if you're not a parent, but like, right? I'm like, do you like playing soccer? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, good. And he's like, why? Do you think I should quit? I'm like, no. Do you want to quit? And then he's like, you told me to never quit anything. And I wanted to be like, yeah, but when I said that, I'd yet to see you play soccer. I would not have made that rule if I'd seen you play soccer. And then he said something so adorable. He said, look, Dad. He calls me Dad. Look, Dad, I know I'm bad at soccer, but I think it takes years to really get good at something. Like, decades. Like, you can't just give up. You gotta keep on trying. Like, eventually, you'll get good at stand-up. And you'll be able to make observations about your own life instead of making up a family to seem more marketable to a mainstream audience. Which is really just a cop-out masquerading as postmodern bullshit. Couldn't have said it better myself. It's just like me. So we're at the dinner table, me and my kid and my wife, and my life's gone great, I lost a bunch of weight, totally thin now. Hey, if you can believe the kid, you can believe that fucking shit, all right? That's the part where suspension of disbelief's too high. Can't go there, buddy. Lost a bunch of weight. I went to the doctor the other day. Turned out I'm perfect weight for my height. Anyone? Anyone? Make a lot of money. Sell out wherever I go. There's never empty chairs at any show, wherever I go. And I'm looking at my wife and my kid, and I realize my friends with kids were right the first time. It is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. A week later, my wife went on a rock climbing trip in Denver, Colorado. You're gonna feel really bad for laughing when you hear the rest of this. On the second day, the cord was loose, and she didn't make it. I remember I was at the funeral. I was in a stall, just bawling my eyes out. And I overheard two people in the bathroom, and one of them said, "How did she die?" And the other one said, "From rock climbing." And then the first person said, "Well, at least she died doing something she loved." And I had to use all my energy not to burst out of that stall and be like, really? Because call me crazy, but I don't think she loved falling off a fucking mountain. I don't think that was one of her joys in life. I don't think plummeting to her death was one of her favorite pastimes. I don't think crashing her head on the rock was on her bucket list, motherfucker. A couple days later, I found in her possessions a letter. Dear Ranan, love of my life. If you are reading this, it means I've left the world far too soon. I've enjoyed all the time we spent together, and I want you to know that I harbor no resentment if you remarry, even if you have other children. Life is about moving forward. My one request, my only request, please do not mention my death on stage. In an effort to end emotional weight to one of your shows. I'm a real person. Not some character you can exploit for tragic or comedic impulses. Please resist the narcissistic impulse that all artists have to only use me as fodder. You're dead. You can't tell me what to do anymore. Not pussy whipped anymore. So anyway, a week later, my kid died, and I moved back in with my parents. All the changes I made have gone to the wayside. I'm back. I gained the 60 pounds back. I'm back to smoking and drinking. My life, like I said, is just this endless cycle, an endless phase. I'm trying to learn how to finally change for good, to really break that cycle, you know? But I think the key to do it is to be positive. I think that's the key, you know? That's something I learned when I went to AA. I learned a lot in AA. One of the most important things I learned in AA is that while weed and alcohol seem like harmless, they're actually a gateway to born-again Christianity. Did you all know that? That's something parents should tell their kids. Don't smoke weed. Next thing you know, you'll be doing heroin. And next thing you know, you're crashing down in the corner of a dark church. And then it's too late. So I'm trying to be positive, you know? And I want to find a girlfriend. I think that's the key, because I'm still back to doing stand-up about jacking off and watching Netflix. And I want to get a girlfriend and have kids so I can do more marketable stand-up. But before I can get that to happen, I have to do a couple of things. Number one, I have to quit. I have a terrible snoring problem. Does anyone else have a terrible snoring problem here? No? Really? Because some of you look pretty fat. No? No one else? Just me? All right. I have a terrible snoring problem. It's bad. I know it's bad because when people hear it the next day, they're not like, that was really annoying. They're like, you got to get that checked out immediately. Like really soon. Or you're going to die. I watched you. You stopped breathing for like a minute. I was like, why didn't you wake me? Because I wanted you to die so I could get some sleep. So I went to this doctor, this nice doctor, and he said if I have sleep apnea, which is really bad snoring, he can give me a CPAP machine, which is like a machine you wear on your face and it helps you breathe at night. I'm like, that's awesome. Let's bust that shit out. And he was like, well, first, you got to do a sleep apnea test, a sleep study to see if you have sleep apnea, which is bullshit for two reasons. Number one, who would be lying about that? Who's like, oh, I sleep like a baby, but I really want to go to bed dressed as Bane from Batman. Anyway, we can get that going. Number two, I don't need a sleep apnea test. I already done the ultimate sleep apnea test, which is I was on a Greyhound once. A crazy homeless person sat next to me. I went to sleep, and when I woke up, he was sitting somewhere else. No other tests are needed. You understand how fucked? My snoring broke through his force field of schizophrenia. So I go into the lab. There's an attractive young woman in the lab. She gives me what looks like a heart monitor with strings on it. And she says, wear it to bed tonight and bring it back tomorrow. And assuming it's checking my heart rate. So I go to bed with it. I wear it to sleep. I bring it back tomorrow. I'm excited. You know, I'm thinking, you know, maybe I'll finally quit the snoring, find a girlfriend, no longer do bits about jacking off and watching cartoons. I'm also thinking maybe I'll ask this woman on a date. It's something I've seen people do in movies. I give her the heart monitor thing. She looks at it and she says, great, I'll listen to the audio today and get back to you. Audio? You didn't say anything about, yeah, it's recording it the whole time. It's how we see. Because here's the thing. I didn't immediately go to sleep. I was up for a couple of hours doing things I would not have done if I knew someone was listening to the audio. She's like, don't worry, I've heard it all. I'm like, I don't think so. So now I gotta leave the room knowing this poor woman is sitting there in the lab on her headphones. Big headphones so she can hear it clearly. Just listening to me, just violently jacking off to like Romanian porn too. Me on the bed like Darth Vader having a panic attack. While some Romanian guy's getting blown. Sots Pezetra, bună dimineața! Bună dimineața, sots Pezetra! Sots Pezetra. She's gonna listen to that for about 45 minutes. Then she's gonna hear me start singing, I'm too drunk to come right now. I'm too drunk, which is my favorite lullaby I sing at night. Then she's gonna hear me stop jacking off, getting a burrito from the fridge, tearing into that like a starved wolf, like, while the Romanian porn's still going on in the background. Oh, sots Pezetra! Oh, Beneviatia! Sots Pezetra! Oh, sots Pezetra! Finally, I go back to jacking off and I come, but when I come, I always say something instinctually out loud. So this is what she's gonna hear after 2 hours. She's just gonna hear, I fucking hate myself. Still not tired. So I put on Beauty and the Beast. It was on Netflix. I used to watch it with my kid. And that's definitely the weirdest part for her. Because just think about it, she's had to listen to this horrific symphony of loneliness. Just to jack it off in the burrito, and the Romanian porn, and after all that, she just hears vaguely in the background, be our guest, be our guest. Put our service to the test. Tie a napkin round your neck, cherie, and we provide the rest. Soup du jour, hot hors d'oeuvres, why we only live to serve. Try the gray stuff, it's delicious. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes. They can sing, they can dance. After all, miss, this is France. And our dinner here is never second best. Go on, unfold your menu, take a glance, and then you'll be our guest. Be our guest. Be our guest. So I didn't ask her out on a date. That's what I'm trying to say. But maybe I should have, you know? Because if she would have said yes, she'd be in it, you know? Like, that's the shitty thing about dates. Every time you date someone, you gotta create this false image of yourself. And then as you get in a relationship, you slowly reveal bits and pieces of the real, fucked up you. And then by the time they get the whole, full, horrible picture, it's too late because you're both on the lease. Haha, you know about my piss fetish, but both our names are in the apartment, you ain't going anywhere. Going on a date is like watching a preview for a Will Ferrell movie. Being in a relationship is like finally seeing that movie and realizing all the good jokes are on the preview. But I'm trying to be positive. I'm gonna tell one last story about that. I was at a bar about a year ago, a week before the brakes in my car went out. I'm talking to this girl, Sally. And at one point she asked me, "What are you doing Wednesday?" And I say, "Nothing." And she says, "Would you like to go with me to the KFC Yum Center, which is an arena downtown, though admittedly it sounds more like the nickname Colonel Sanders had for his cock." Suck my KFC Yum Center, come on. Suck the Colonel's KFC Yum Center. Would you like to go with me to the KFC Yum Center? Tickets are $75 and there's a dance party afterwards. Now, negative Ron would have said, "Wow, everything about that sounds terrible. I'm almost impressed that so many things I dislike could be crammed into one event. I can't tell you the amount of things I'd rather do instead. I would rather donate money on Kickstarter for Zach Braff's next movie. I would rather go to a loft party filled with the writing staff of Jezebel on a night where they all get their periods at the same time. I would rather listen to a recording of Gilbert Gottfried having an orgasm on an endless loop. I would rather watch The View." But positive Ron said, "Fuck yeah, get the tickets, I'll pay you back for both of them." Now, I don't remember any of this. Because positive Ron also likes to drink. And when I drink, I black out. You might call it alcoholism. I simply view it as a healthy need to follow through on things. And it's fun. You get to wake up the next day and put the puzzle pieces together again. It's like being in the movie Memento, but a lot sadder. I wake up the next day, I know I did something bad, I don't know what, and then an hour later I get a text from her. She says, "Just got the tickets to the Arcade Fire concert. You owe me $140. No backing out now." I would have rather found out I killed a hooker the night before. This is the worst news I've ever got. Positive Ron is fucking out the window. I'm like, I can't do this. I seriously started debating going back to AA. Like, this would be my big rock bottom story. Like, someone would be like, I once gave a dog a hand job for a pint of gin, and someone else in the circle would be like, I once sold my son's birthday cake for a bag of blow. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I once agreed to go to an Arcade Fire concert. Everyone would be like, you win, I don't even have a problem. Where's that dog? Let me jack him off. I didn't know what to do. I don't like concerts, I don't like people, I don't like Arcade Fire, I don't like any of that. I don't listen to that kind of music, okay? So I called her to try to get out of it. And she answered, she's like, hello, are you excited? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, what? And I unloaded on her. I went into full Jewish whiny mode. I'm like, it's downtown. We gotta find parking. I then said the most old Jewish man line I've ever said. I literally go, it's a whole to-do. So I agree to go to the concert. Me and Sally are in my car heading to the KFC Yum Center. The brakes are making a very loud, howling sound. She's like, you should probably look into that. I said, don't tell me what to do. And then I raised the volume on the radio until you can no longer hear it. We get into the Yum Center. I'm nervous. I don't like hipsters. I feel like I'm plunging into hell right now. I feel like I'm in Dante's Inferno and she's my guide. I stand back from the door to enter. She turns back to me like Virgil, like my fearless sage. Are you ready to go in? Let's go. We open the door into the lobby. There's about 40 or 50 of them in the lobby. Hipsters, I mean. Hipsters of all races, genders, and creeds. Well, not races, but the other one. Most of the hipsters are dressed in your standard fashion, by which I mean the women look like Annie Hall and the men look like college professors who had to get dressed really quickly because they were late for class. But some of them stood out. To my left, I saw a hipster married couple with a 3-year-old kid also dressed as a hipster. It's hard to explain the feeling you get when you see a 3-year-old in a vest and loose-fitting tie. But it's weird. You look at that kid and your only thought is, he thinks he's so fucking cool. We go up the stairs. I see 4 hipster douchebags walking by me. The guy in the front of the group has a parrot on his shoulder, which begs a lot of questions. Did he already own that parrot, or did he buy it specifically for the concert? And if that's the case, what was that exchange like at the pet shop? Was the guy behind the counter like, how can I help you? And he's like, yeah, man, I got an Arcade Fire concert to go to on Wednesday. So you know. Fuck yeah, I do. Let me take you to the parrot aisle. Can't show up to an Arcade Fire concert without a parrot on your shoulder. You'll look ridiculous. As he walks by me, I literally hear him say this line. I fucking hate to even repeat it. As he walks by me, he literally says, is it just me, or is Woody Allen's earlier films too self-indulgent for their own good? He said that. The parrot said that. And then he repeated it. Is it just me, or is Woody Allen's earlier films too self-indulgent for their own good? Leading me to have a thought I never had, which is that parrot doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So shut up. It's the most smug parrot I've ever fucking seen. Pretentious hipster parrot. We go into the arena, the lowest ring of hell. Play some lowest ring of hell music. This is Jake, by the way, on the bass. Or cello, I always forget. All right, lowest ring of hell music. We go into the arena. I've never seen so many hipsters in one place. There's thousands of them. I'm getting dizzy. It's like being submerged in an endless sea of flannel and Civil War era facial hair. On stage there's a DJ spinning records. Some people consider DJing an art form, and those people are called DJs. He gets done with his shit, and then 7 effeminate cowboys take the stage. The lead singer takes the microphone and literally says, give it up for DJ Whittles. His hands are so fast, he could have been a surgeon, but he chose to be a DJ instead. Wow, I bet that thought sounded a lot less sad in your head. Play the first song. It's okay. They play their second song, sounds like their first song. Play their third song, sounds like the other 2. They repeat that pattern for 4 hours. But I'm not whining, I'm not bitching, I'm trying to be positive. I sit there, I start nodding into it, looking like I'm into it. And I look at Sally, she's thinking she's nodding too. I'm not gonna be that miserable fucking person. And after a while, I start getting into it. I mean, really, I'm miserable, but on the surface, I look like I'm having fun. It's the greatest change I've ever made. I'm at a concert with a band I hate and people I despise, and I don't look miserable. I know it's not like the greatest change ever, but it's a start. finally the band gets done. Everyone stands up and applauds, and I can't help but think they're applauding for me. For looking like I was enjoying it. I turned to Sally, assuming we're now gonna go home and fuck. Because that's what happens when you pretend to be positive. I look at her and I say, let's get out of here. And then she looks at me confused, and I'm like, we can't leave, there's a dance party now. Just then, a strobe light descends from the ceiling and everyone runs to the lower platform and starts dancing. I look at her and I say my second most old Jewish man line. I say, enough is enough. Before I say anything else, she grabs me and yanks me to the dance floor, which is bullshit. People who like dancing are always forcing other people to dance. It's fascist. I don't do that. I don't go to parties, yank people off the dance floor, force them to go in a corner with me and talk shit about everyone else at the party. So we're on the floor. She's doing her white girl dance where she thinks it's better than it is. And I don't know how to dance. I just run in a treadmill. That's what I do. I look like I'm in a Jenny Craig workout tape. I don't look like I'm dancing. I look like I'm trying to burn off my man tits. That's what it is. That's what the dance move's called. And then she grabs my hand and starts showing me how to dance, and I yank my hand back. Because I've made a lot of compromises tonight. But I'll be damned if I have anyone show me how to dance. Unless they're an inner city black kid at a school I'm substitute teaching at. But I'll be damned if I have another white person show me how to dance. I look at her and I go, fuck it, and I walk in the corner. And I look back and she's dancing alone, and a minute later, she's dancing with someone who looks like a pirate. A minute later, they're making out. I can't be mad, it could have been me, but I couldn't do it. And I looked at all the hipsters dancing. I was like, why am I so mad at them? They're all having fun, they're just morons. Where's the hate come from? Where's the anger? I'm too angry at people having fun. And then I realized it's because I'm jealous. I would love to go out at night wearing a fedora. I would love it. But every time I put on a fedora and look in the mirror, there's a voice in my head that says, you're not in Boardwalk fucking Empire. Take that fucking hat off. You ain't in Dick Tracy, bitch. Take it off. And they don't have that voice. And I would love to be like them. I would love to be able to change every day, wear a different outfit, and constantly be changing, but I can't. I'm stuck being the same fat, miserable Jew in a blazer. I'm not wearing it tonight because it's too hot, but usually I do. I accept the fact that I'll never change. That change is an illusion. And I'm like, I'm fine with it. I'll be the same person always. And I get in my car and I start driving back home. And as I'm driving, the brakes are howling now. Like howling, like so loud. And I can only imagine that the brakes are like the sound of my soul pleading with me. Saying, you gotta make a change, man. You can't keep on doing this. You can't keep on being in this endless loop. You gotta finally make a change, or you're gonna fucking be in this shit over and over again. And I can't listen. And as I'm listening to that, suddenly, the car in front of me stops. I put my foot on the brakes, and my car just keeps on going. And that's an exciting moment when that happens. Because essentially what it means is you have 10 seconds to look around you and decide what's the least expensive thing you can crash your car into. There's a car in front of me, I don't want to hit that, I swerve. There's a kid on a bike, don't want to hit him. I swerve again, go up a driveway, straight for a Porsche in an open garage. I'm like, should have hit the fucking kid. I swerve again, go into some random person's backyard. My car goes up the steps of their deck and hits a wall. I get out of my car, it's just on someone's deck, like a modern art piece. Now, most people would walk away from that situation having a real come to Jesus moment. Or in my case, whatever the Jewish version of that is. A real come to Jeff Goldblum moment. They'd be like, wow, I gotta make some changes. Otherwise, this shit's just gonna keep on happening. In an endless loop.
11 days ago, I loved you so.